Good morning. I'm Neil Billinger, and welcome to CJWW's On the Air with Edge Agro, a company that builds augers right here in Saskatoon. Joining us in the studio this morning, the two co-owners of Edge Agro, Ted Sand and Greg Diebert. Before we get down to business, Ted, we're going to start off by having you tell us a bit about your company and how you got started here in Saskatoon.
Good morning, Neil. Thanks for having us on here this morning. It's great to be here. Me and Greg started up a couple years ago. We have ourselves a agricultural machinery development and manufacturing company in the north end of Saskatoon here. We're in the north industrial area. How we got started, we had come up with some ideas we wanted to implement it a couple of years ago, and just kind of brainstorming from there and manifesting from that, we came into development of some of our current machinery.
And you're in the north end of the city, right?
That's correct, yeah. We are on 3703 Kinnear Avenue up by the Silverwood Golf Course.
And everything is built right on site?
That is correct. Everything is built right out of our shop there, and mainly just me and Greg hammering away. And
Well, let's get Greg into the conversation here. Greg, there's a lot of augers in the market right now. Tell us, what made you want to build the Edge Agro grain auger?
Well, getting started, Ted and I, we started by basically building a winch. We thought we could improve on a winch for raising a grain auger. So we started that, and then we wanted to look at a mover. And then once we started working on a mover, we really didn't have an auger to put it on yet. So all the other manufacturers sort of tied up with their own movers. So then we said, okay, well, we're going to have to start building an auger. So we just got our heads together, and we come up with this concept. So we started building the auger, then we started working on the mover, and we shelved the winch basically and went to our hydraulic lift system, which we find is far superior to a winch.
So necessity was the mother of invention.
You got it. I know you wouldn't. It's a long road. It's a long road.
It doesn't go straight from A to B. There's always a lot of things that you have to learn along the way, isn't there?
Well, that's right. Yeah. It seems like it's easy, but once you get on it, there's a lot of things you got to do to get going.
This is CJWW's On the Air. We are talking to Ted Sand and Greg Diebert with Edge Agro about their company's new auger. Ted, how does your unit compare to a conventional auger that you might see on a typical farm?
well, there's lots of differences that we've implemented in our design of our auger. Some of the things we value is robustness and durability and quality of build. Certain things like implementing the heaviest frame in the industry to withstand, the heavier components that we have to throw at it for the durability. Changing the winch system, conventional winch system for raising your discharge on a loading auger to a cylinder lift system, which is much safer in many regards than a winch system. And smoother operation, but safety is the number one reason why we changed from the cylinder lift system from the winch kit to the cylinder lift system. Sorry, Neil. And then with that, we implement diesel horsepower, and then we get away from the conventional electromagnetic clutch that most other manufacturers use on their V-twin motors and such. We're dealing with a lot more horsepower, so we want to be able to positively transmit that power. So we implement a heavy-duty hand clutch in our design, which enables the operator to slowly engage that hand clutch instead of having that snapping effect like an electromechanical clutch does in a conventional system. So it's a lot easier on the driveline components of the auger, and you have total control of just easing that auger into drive and just letting that product flow bellow out of it, So
the bottom line is, I guess, just making it as easy as possible for the grower, right? Making sure that they can do their job as quickly and efficiently as possible.
That's correct. Yeah, that's that was our main focus right from the start, is making it easier for the operator and making this machine last as long as it possibly can was our two main focuses. The biggest difference of our auger in comparison to the conventional augers on the market right now is the dynamically balanced flighting by far.
And tell us about that. What is that, and how did you achieve that, and what are the benefits to the grower?
Dynamically balanced flighting is a totally different scenario than the conventional flight in an auger. We take our sections of flighting and actually spin it up to the required operating speed of that auger. And then we measure the imbalance of that rotor or the flighting. And with that measurement, we mitigate the imbalance by adding weight to it. So at the end, when we are done dynamically balancing that flighting, it runs very smoothly and without any vibration whatsoever.
And of course, we'll get Greg back into the conversation. Without that vibration, you don't get all that loud sound, right?
Right. The auger operates very quietly, and also when it runs empty, it's actually less noisy when it's empty than it is when it's actually augering, and it's usually the reverse to that with any conventional auger. Seed damage, being that the flighting does not rub up against the tube, there's clearance in there, so you don't get the grinding of the product you're conveying. And the way we load it and everything, that just works very nicely with the balanced flighting.
Yeah. Can you run dry?
Yes. Yeah. You can just let it run dry, and like I say, with the balanced flighting, it just quiets right down.
Well, that's great to hear. So we are talking to Ted Sand and Greg Diebert with Edge Agro. They are based here in Saskatoon. They make augers, something that every farmer needs. And we've been talking to them about the various types of components they have on their augers that make them a little different from the conventional ones. So we're going to get Ted back into the conversation here. You have 12-inch and 14-inch loading augers. Maybe tell us a bit about their capacity and what sort of things they can do.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Our 12-inch and 14-inch loading augers, they come in the 42-foot lengths in a configuration and a 52-foot configuration as well. Our 42-foot is the most popular configuration. For unloading bins, bushel-wise, we're looking at the 12 will do around that 10,000 bushel an hour mark, which converts down to an easy 160 bushels a minute. Depending on, obviously you get a little bit of difference depending on commodity, where when you're into the 14-inch mark, we are looking at around that 13,000 bushel a minute mark, or around that 190 to 200 bushel a minute mark. So yeah, high capacity, and that's why we have to implement those higher horsepower liquid-cooled Perkins diesel motors. We build these augers to move the displacement that they're supposed to move, to work them to their full potential. And that's what we always strive to do, is not sacrifice capacity just because you don't have enough power. It's always better to have, I think every farmer knows that, it's always better to have a little bit more power than you actually need to do the work. It doesn't matter if it's a grain auger or a tractor in the field. You need a little bit more horsepower than you actually need to do the job. And it's obviously going to let that motor run easier and increase the lifespan of that prime mover, which is that diesel motor. So
this is CJWW's On the Air with Edge Agro. We're going to give you the phone number and website address right now, but if you don't get it, well, don't worry. We'll have it at the end of the program as well. If you want to get a hold of the guys at Edge Agro, the phone number 665-6550, the website edgeagro.com. And of course, you don't really get to know what the auger can do until you see it in person. But if you're sitting around the coffee table this morning and you want to go online, go on there. They've got a bit of a video, don't you, Greg? We'll just get you over here. And you got a bit of a video that guys can sort of take a quick look, just to give them a rough idea what we're talking about here this morning.
Yeah, we have a quick video there and some more information in regards to, what the auger can do and how it's built and what you can get for it. There's a bunch of different options that you can get for it. So,
It's been a challenging year, to say the least, for farmers out there. We've got issues with crop quality. How important is it to have a good auger in a year where the difference between a 2 and a 3 can cost a lot of money?
Well, that's right, yeah. With our auger, we're looking at that the way it's built is I think you can depend on it. And if every piece of machinery in the field is sort of depending on each other to do the job, when you have your auger, which is considered the cheapest thing you have to work with, goes down, everything else suffers from it. So, that's the benefit of having a top quality auger that you can depend on.
You guys have a lot of contact with farmers. I know you were at Ag in Motion this summer in July out at Langham. You talked to a lot of producers out there. What did you hear from them?
Yeah, we did. We got an interview done for us through the Western Producer, and they were very interested in what Ted and I were doing with our auger and how innovative it was and how different it was. Everybody around us was just amazed how much traffic for just two guys who just started this had in their booth, because there was no grass left when we were done after 3 days.
And we mentioned this before, but I think it's important to repeat that you guys are local. This is a local company. The money that you make is reinvested right back in the local economy, and that's something a lot of producers like to see.
That is right, yeah. Ted and I have worked for years, and we've known each other for years, so we just started this up, and let's try something new. So we quit the jobs we were doing, and we started this up out of our pocket, and it's just rolling, and I think it's going to do quite well.
So if you're a grower out there listening this morning, either outside in your truck, or if you're still at the table in the morning, how should they contact you? Is there phone is easy enough, or email, or is there a preferred way of talking to you guys?
Well, we do have email, but I think just giving us a call and coming down and having a look and see what we're doing. And, you're right in the shop as soon as you come in the building, so you can't miss it.
And you don't mind if guys call ahead and they take a look around your shop?
No, not at all. They can call ahead, just drop on by. Ted and I are usually working on something or trying to figure out something.
So again, edgeagro.com, that's the website. The phone number, 665-6550. There's a video on that website. So if you want to check that out right away before you give the phone numbers a call, definitely check that out. And we're just going to get Ted back here to sort of do a recap on everything, because we covered a lot of information the last 10 or 12 minutes. Let's get a take-home message for the producers out there. What does your company offer, and what can you provide for them?
Well, I think, Neil, what we can provide for the producers out there is the top of the line auger on the market right now, and that's just not a statement. That's what we strive to do right from the start to the finish of everything that we do. Whether it's our loading augers, our 12 and 14-inch dynamically balanced loading augers with our heavy-duty mover with the wireless hands-free option, or the ability to implement our flighting technology into existing swing augers on the market. We have a lot of interest in farmers not happy with their existing large diameter and long series swing augers because of the large amount of vibration and banging and premature failure of some of the components. And that's all to do with the imbalance of these large augers. So implementing our technology, our flighting technology, into these other augers is something that a lot of people have been interested as well for us. And going forward, we have a lot of development and innovation we want to bring to the table. Obviously, establishing some of our existing products in the market first. But you're going to see a lot more innovative products, quality products from Edge Agro in the future here. So.
And I'm sure we're going to see you at shows like the crop production show in January. You guys will be out there too?
I'm not sure if we're going to be at the crop production show this year. Space has been a little bit tight for some of the new manufacturers that want to get in there. It's an indoor show, so they only have the limited amount of space. But at the next Ag in Motion show in July next year, 2017, we will be doing interactive displays and demonstrations conditions, actually moving grain, and showing people what this auger can do and how well it's built and how well it runs. How well an auger can run silently.
That's great. Less noise is better. Thanks a lot, guys. Ted Sand and Greg Diebert from Edge Agro for dropping on by to talk about your augers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neil.
Great. And we'll run those website address and phone numbers again. edgeagro.com. Check out the video there. You can see the auger in performance. And if you want to talk to the guys, either Ted or Greg, call 306, of course, that's the area code, 665 6550, 665 6550, Edge Agro here in Saskatoon. You've been listening to CJWW's On the Air with Edge Agro. I'm Neil Billinger.